So
All right.
ask me.
Okay. So we're back with another Jazz Matters podcast. And today we have an old friend of mine, Miss Sandi Blair. We're talking to Sandi right now. She's in Japan. Are you in Osaka or are you in which part?
That's where I am. I'm in Osaka. It's Kansai area. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And of course, we have Von Coulter with us from Jazz Beats Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started because I know you got something to do, Sandi. So for all the people that with Jazz Matters here, you've actually worked with us when we were getting started before you left to go back overseas. But we've changed the name, of course, since then. So it's now Jazz Matters. And just give us a little bit of history on yourself right quick. Like where you're from and how did you get in this business anyway?
I guess I was born into it. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Brooklyn. And my family, not just the church, but they were all musicians. And my uncle, my mother's brother, played guitar with Louis Armstrong for several years. So, I kind of fell in it. And actually all the standards that I learned from him. He was a very strange man. He not only played, most musicians, he played guitar and he raised chickens and rabbits. And and that was out in Long Island. And I went out, I was the only one that was brave enough to go in the chicken house with him to hang out with him and sing while he played guitar. And it was a really good experience for me. Sound.
Is he still with you?
I'm sorry, that was my fault.
Okay.
That was my fault. And I'm sure when you got of age, you did quite a few gigs with him, huh?
Actually, no, he was in another league. By the time I became adult enough to sing professionally, he was not working so much. And when he did, he was doing a lot of Dixieland.
Okay.
So we never, but my standards, which, like I'm applauded for now, I have such a big repertoire. I learned all of that from him. Yeah.
Right. Well, you definitely learned it from one of the people that was there when they were being made,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I know that you're teaching, right? You have a
yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Are you? What age groups? People, all ages, or how do you?
No, I only teach adults. I don't touch little children. I'm afraid of little children. They just ask too many questions. But
okay.
But no, I teach adults, all ages. I've kind of narrowed down this past year since everything shut down for the pandemic.
Yeah.
When I started back up again, I kind of, I decided that I was only interested in singers who were interested in becoming professional. I used to get, the housewives who didn't have anything else to do but spend their husband's money, so they'd come and, and that was kind of depressing for me, to say the least. So
Okay.
now I only take students, and I also changed my teaching days. I was teaching all during the week. And that made me depressed too. And I couldn't figure out why. And I realized that I was teaching more than I was performing.
Uh-huh.
And that's very important to me. Teaching is steady,
Right.
but performing is, why I live, why I breathe.
It's fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is that's the thing. And that's why we over here we're having such a hard time adjusting to the pandemic because they shut everything down. And I'll tell you the truth, I kind of went through a withdrawal period for a little while because I've always played in some way.
Oh yeah.
And I mean all my life. So the thing was, I could not figure. I said, what's going on here? Because you're not getting any input from the outside. Telling you things to do, and you're trying to figure all this out. And then I had to go, well, the best thing for me to do is practice, so that I can when everything does lift, you know, I'm not going to be the one scrambling. Let's say it like that. I'm not going to be the last one. So do you have any new products you've been working on?
Well, it's not just finished. I just released. Every year here, I have a birthday party for myself, and it's called Sandi Blair's 55 Again birthday. And so my last 55 again birthday, I decided I wanted to do something different, so I recorded live. And I meant to release it. My birthday's in July, so I meant to release it by the end of the year. But and I'm talking 2019 now.
Right.
So what happened was I messed up one of the, you know, like when you're in the studio, you can go back and do it again. Right. We were on stage, and you know, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, you know, and everybody on stage was looking at me like, what? And so we had to go in the studio and fix it. So it was more money, and you know, it kind of delayed the release. So I wound up, I only work 2 clubs here, only 2 clubs. I do a one jazz room, and now I'm doing a funk thing, funk and blues at another room. And they're very possessive, you know, so the room where I do jazz, like, he was like, what? You know, I said, but I don't do jazz over there. I only do funk. So he said, oh, okay. But when I asked him for a date to record in his club, he didn't have anything near my birthday. So he wanted to put it like a week or 2 weeks later. But the other room said, oh, we can get that. We can do that right on the day. So I went there to record. So my main club, I've been there ever since I came here. I've been here for 5 years this time. I first came into Japan when I was in 1980, and I came back every year since 1980. So I've established not just a little fan base, but you know, a rapport with the rooms here, with the live houses, but I realized that I was overexposed. So I decided, well, let me teach more, and you know, and just sing now and then, so they only get a little bit, you know, and that seems to work better for me. But when that all shut down at the pandemic, and I was in the story of the release, he gave me a date for a release party, and that's when the pandemic broke out, you know, so like that was canceled. And then so it wound up that I didn't release it until June of this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically that's my new product, you know, and it's called Peace. And that's the title tune, Horace Silver's piece.
Yeah.
Got a nice little arrangement on that. And the whole project is about peace. So I've done some, you know, as a matter of fact, where's the, oh, excuse me, I can't even remember everything that's on it. Yeah. Interesting. I thought about that today. I said, oh my God, I didn't even send, you know, Edwin the CD, so you could, you know, actually have this in your possession before we started this interview.
Now Vaughn might have Vaughn does
Trust
the
me,
research.
I'm gonna find it. I will find it.
Vaughn does the research. He'll find it. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's got Peace and Fragile by Sting, Evolution by Yvonne Lins, of course, Superstition, Stevie, Everything Must Change. That's one of my favorites here. And Michael Frank's Monkey See, Monkey Do.
Monkey See, Monkey Do.
Oh yeah, you really got an old classic there, huh?
And
I reached back
the board.
and I did a driving kind of. Monkey See, Monkey Do.
You have an eclectic list on your CD.
Yeah, we had a great time with it too.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Okay, Vaughn, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was going to say her selection is quite eclectic. You got a full list of great songs on that CD. I was just it's funny. One of them in particular, I just happened to be looking at that today, and when I saw it, because I had heard the song before, Stevie's version of Fragile, and
Oh,
and Sting is with him.
yes,
And,
I
and
saw
when,
that.
you know, there's several singers or vocalists on that level, and it's like maybe 10 or 15 that I can list, that if you give them a composition that you wrote
Mm,
and they sing it,
mm.
it's no more your song. They own it.
Yeah,
They literally own it.
yeah.
So Stevie was standing next to Sting, and I just knew that song was no longer going to be Sting's, and it just went there. And
I saw the same, show that you're talking about. It was Sting's birthday.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I was looking at the look on Sting's face when Stevie, like put his head back, and I went, oh.
Exactly, exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah. Actually, that's what inspired me. I knew of the song before, but that night that I heard Stevie sing, I went, oh, wait, Fragile, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very powerful, and actually I put it in practically every show I do now because
Wow.
the lyrics are so on point.
Yes,
Right
they
now.
are. They really
Yeah.
are. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful
It
song. It is.
is. It is.
And
It is.
you know, it has that. I mean, it's so melancholy, and it hits you right in
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you in your travels, and is who were some of your contemporaries that you kind of cross path with, that during your in your career, like any notable vocalists that you can let us know about?
Well, when you say contemporaries, to be honest with you, I happen to have been born in a very unique time. So I got a chance to hang out with Carmen and Betty
Mm-hmm. Oh
and
wow. Okay.
I mean, vocal musicians.
Sure.
I went to
Yeah.
see Sarah a lot, but I never got a chance to converse with her. Oh, and I grew up on Gloria Lynn, so my
Wow.
my swinging chops came from listening to Gloria Lynn on the headset, like everything. But so that's what I tell my students. I tell them to listen to as many, and in fact, I have to give them a list. And Edwin said, "Who am I teaching?" Like if they get so young. I had one student come in here, and I said, "You should listen to Sarah Vaughan," and she said, "Who?" And I went, "Oh, you have to leave. You have to leave. You don't know you're trying to sing jazz, and you don't know who Sarah Vaughan is." Okay.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that earlier this afternoon in an interview we did, where somebody didn't know, they had no idea some of the musicians, the guy we were interviewing, who was that guy, who is he, and it's tragic. It's really tragic that they would not know these great entertainers and vocalists.
Especially if they're American. I can excuse the Japanese, to a degree because their hearing is censored. Everybody doesn't get a chance to, because the Japanese are very, I think it's very smart. They don't allow anybody to get but so big in Japan if they're not Japanese. Okay. So a lot of people feel as though, oh, that's so prejudiced. I said, listen, America could take some lessons from this. Like we're the melting pot of the world, but the real, folks who, generations, in America, a lot of times they get pushed aside, in the industry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that will not happen in Japan. And I've learned to play that game. I always have, I insist on, Afro-American drummers, but I always have Japanese in my band, so
Okay.
wherever I go, they with me. So, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But, like some of the big groups that come from the States, to perform here, they don't have any Japanese in the band. So they come and they perform, and the Japanese are very polite, but like, oh, no, you can't stay because, we're not included in that, So
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of the what's his name? From Brooklyn, tenor player. Oh, I have a senior moment right now, but whenever he comes, he brings, you know, Japanese players with him, or he picks up Japanese players here to
Right.
complete, you know, the band.
Okay.
When I first came in here in 1980, it was kind of hard to find, you know, some, you know, players that, you know, could actually grab that groove. But not anymore. These guys are hot now, you know, keyboard
Right.
players off the chain. Drummers and the bass players were about the last ones to, you know, get in it. But I got a bass player now who's scary. I got several bass players who are scary here, Japanese guys. Yeah, so it's fun. It's really fun.
Wow. Well, it seems like you've been enjoying it. You've been there for quite some time. So
Yeah, I have family, you know, cousins who say, "Sandy, when are you coming home?" And I go like, "I am home." You know, one of my friends, who guitar player, he says, "I think you were Japanese in another life, because first of all, you're short, and you like Japanese food, so you must have been in another life. You must have been Japanese." I said, "You might be right."
well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm excited that you're able to join us this morning here in Atlanta. Well, yeah, in Georgia.
You
And
know,
so
you know where you are. Yeah,
exactly.
you have those moments.
And you know, just being able to, you know, and you're our first international artist so far in these documented, what I call historic documented interviews, because
I'm so happy to be a part of it.
it's wonderful. And what Edwin has put together is just going to be something that, you know, archive wise, it's going to really, you know, give us a history about all of these fine musicians that have come out of the Deep South that nobody really knows anything about unless you're in those circles. And, you know, bringing you on board, it just adds to that, you know. So, you know, we're going to continue this, and the platform is specifically for artists like yourself to be able to, you know, get your name out there again, and so people, they can experience you as well. So, you know, kudos for you keeping up, staying relevant, you know, because we need that. We need that in this business.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine who used to book me here, helped me get bookings here, told me, he said, "Japan needs you." And I understand, you know, what he meant, that the history and, you know, the way of doing it correctly, and basically the history needs to be told. And I do that. I really do. I insist on my students knowing the history and actually listening to the greats and the forerunners, you know, the ones we, you know, whose shoulders we stand on. However, I don't know if Edwin remembers, one of my friends, whenever she's in a room, and I always turn my students on to her. She's in California now, but whenever she's in the room, I refuse to sing because she's just that good. Aja McCall, I don't know if you know Aja.
No,
No?
I
Oh,
don't think
dang.
so.
Okay, go on YouTube. That's what I tell my students all the time. Pull up Aja, Azure McCall. That girl is fierce. And she was in Atlanta for a long time. As a matter of fact, I met her in Atlanta. And actually, your show, Edwin, when I couldn't do it, when I had to leave, I asked her to do it. So she's sung a couple of times at the.
Well, now that you said that, I do remember her.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, I remember that name, but I just couldn't put a face to it. You know how it goes. I couldn't put a face to the name, so I know exactly who you're talking about. And yes, she did come when we were doing it over at the West End Center.
West End, right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah, she's in California now. She's teaching at a jazz conservatory in Berkeley. So and performing. So we talk a lot. So we compare notes, and she's doing basically the same thing I'm doing, you know,
Uh,
making sure that the singers know the history.
right. And see, that's the, we talked about that, Vaughn and I, with other uh, interviewees, that the history is lost. And I often ask a lot of them, you know, where do they think the culture of the music has seemed to, I guess you could say, mutate? The history of it, they learn a little bit in jazz appreciation in some schools. But, you know, when it came to the culture and the heritage, they seem to have lost it. It's not being taught to them realistically.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like in your situation, see, I noticed that you put that almost first right up front, you know, got to learn the history, you know, and because that's where it all, you got to start there. A lot of the young musicians here in the States now, especially young ones, they're great. They have great facility as far as playing, but the historical knowledge, you know, somebody else is learning that and it's teaching, and then they're teaching it back to them, you know,
Exactly.
at a cost, of course, you know, at a cost. And that's something
true.
they should know, you know.
That's true.
When do you think you're going to get back here in the States?
Well, I am determined to get back as soon as they lift some of those restrictions. You know, the pandemic stopped me from coming.
Oh, yeah.
That's really what stopped me. And
it stopped me from going to the store. I mean, you know. You know what I'm saying?
I have another friend of mine was just left here like a couple of months ago, and I met her here. She's was the first Afro-American woman to be the American Consul General here in Japan.
Okay.
Wow.
And we talked about the problem. She was like 2 months getting out of here after her assignment was over, because Japan wasn't flying anything to America, you know. So she had to wait a while. And now, for me, if I fly into the States, I have to be quarantined for 14 days before I can even change states, you know, and I'm all over the place. You know, I'd fly into New York and I'd still want to get into Georgia. And, you know, I don't have that kind of time. The most I can, you know, the most I could have, you know, would be maybe 2-3 weeks, you know, that I can not, you know, function here. And and coming back, one of the other things is that Japan said, okay, you can go back, you can go to the States, but you can't come back. You know, I went over there. So that's still New York. You know?
Wow. My goodness.
So they may cause me, you know, to sit down even longer than that, depending upon where I go in the States, whether they allow me back in, because I don't have permanent residence here. I have an artist visa. I've been here 5 years, and I have to be here another 5 years before I can apply for permanent residence.
Right.
So if I had permanent residence or if I had family here or something, it would be easier for me to get in and out. But I don't have that. So I have to, you know, I have to tiptoe through their laws and stuff, you know. So that's but I'm hoping to be able to get back, you know, maybe in the spring of 21. I hope things clear up a little bit. You know, it's a problem with the mail. They stopped the mail, the planes that delivered the mail from flying back and forth. So the most I could get out was a little letter. Couldn't get any packages out or anything like that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it hadn't got quite that tight here just yet, you know.
Internationally, this is we're talking international.
Yeah, and it's almost like it is coming though. I mean, with the things going down, it is definitely coming to that point to where everything is going to be pretty much almost shut down to a point, you know. But as getting back to your music, I'd rather get a brighter subject here.
Yeah,
you know?
but we do have to learn how to reinvent ourselves, because the music industry is going through an evolution of, you know, because of this pandemic that introduced this new way. And actually the funk group that I work with, Mostly we're online. I'm streaming that, and we're
Mhm.
videotaping everything, and it's going to be, our performances are going to be YouTube performances, because the clubs now, all the live houses, all the rooms, once they allow them to open, they still can't open to capacity.
Right.
The room that I'm in, the jazz room that I'm in, holds 100, but they're only allowed for a third of that.
Right.
So even though they open up again, the rooms can't make the money that they would if you only have a third, of your room full. You can't, everyone. The one room asked me if I could reduce my they call it a guarantee, and I said, oh no, I can't do that.
Right.
So, but what I can do, I can come less often. You give me the same money, but I'll just, instead of coming here every month, I'll come every other month. They say, oh, thank you so much, Sandy. But actually, I liked it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, you worked it out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, how? I know you got to fly out of here. I mean, out the door. Let's say it like that.
No, they're coming here.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, let people know how they can get in touch with you if they need to follow you or anything.
Okay. Interesting. I'm in the process right now of setting up my own YouTube channel. Well, you can go on YouTube and get some Sandi Blair on YouTube. But it's all over the place. Some of the clubs have done it, and some of them have, uploaded some things of mine. But I'm trying to control the exposure, the distribution of it. So I'm, trying to get my own YouTube channel. And not only am I going to be performing on it, I'm going to let my performances. I have a lot of stuff on video, but I also have my my school, my lessons on. So that's my goal for the first of 2021, to be up and running, teaching on, which is not that easy to do. Workshops are hard enough because you're trying to fit the needs of many into one, focus. But online, first of all, you're talking to the screen, and trying to it's difficult trying to format lessons for someone that you can't see. I teach privately. All my students are private. I do a vocal musician workshop once a month, where I teach, basically my heavy subject is ear training, because so many students want to scat and they can't hear. So how are you going to scat if you can't hear? So the ears have to be trained, where instrumentalists have this anyway, because they know where they are on the instrument, and they memorize the sound of those intervals. But singers don't have that knowledge. I realized when I went to school, I could sing, but I had no idea what I was singing. It was just natural. I couldn't. I remember a group that I was trying to get in, and a note I couldn't find, and the director said, it's a perfect fifth. And I went like, what's that? So that's when I realized that, ear training was very important to singers. So that's easier to do online, but the technique, the focus, and breath support, and the breath control, and all, it's kind of really, it's my challenge, because every singer is different. So that's what's going on. But I'm going to send you this piece.
Okay.
Can I hold it up?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. And I'm sorry I didn't get it to you before.
Yeah.
But, you too, Vaughn.
Oh, thank you.
No, you got to give it to Vaughn now. Vaughn's got to have it. Yeah. I could take it and play it to myself, but Vaughn, he could play it to the world. See.
To the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I've actually. Okay. Actually, I've got several of them out there that, I would like for the world to hear,
Oh,
I've
okay.
got,
Well, Vaughn is the man you need to talk to.
okay. Well,
Absolutely.
He will
tell me
definitely
Vaughn
put it
how to
out
get in
there.
touch with Vaughn.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
As a matter of fact, Vaughn, tell him how to get in touch with you.
I certainly can. Jazzbeatsradio.com. That is the webpage for Jazz Beats Radio. And just go to it. You'll see my biography and much more information about jazz concerts and things coming up in 2021. I mean, I know it's a bit premature, but we'll see what happens. And, we do highlights of all types of jazz artists and stuff like that. So that's one vehicle. And then the platform I have on Instagram at Von Coulter. And then I have a YouTube page as well. And that is called Soulscapes on jazzbeatsradio.com.
SOUL.
SOULSCAPES on jazzbeatsradio.com. That is my YouTube page. Yeah, you can find me.
Okay. I most certainly will. Send
Right.
some of these folks here to see you too.
Well, good. And we have a large following in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
We have a huge following in Japan. And constantly we're able to see exactly, people, go to their computers, their laptops, or we have an app. They go to their apps on their phones and it just pops up on this big map. So we are able to see who's tuning into us, and, Osaka is one section of Japan. And of course, Tokyo is another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we've got a huge following there.
I can imagine.
Jazz is hot in Japan anyway. So.
Oh yeah. It's a classic. It's just two things I forgot to tell you. Sandi Blair, #2 is my Facebook page, and I have a lot of video on my Facebook page.
Right.
Cool.
And something happened to me recently. I was asked I had to come all the way to Japan to get this invitation, asked to participate in it's a classical version of the Underground Railroad. A Japanese man wrote a play, a musical for the Underground Railroad, and they asked me to play Harriet Tubman. So I'm in rehearsal for that now. It's going to happen in March 21st. And it's funny that most of the songs that he gave me, this thing, I already knew them, but I had to, learn his arrangements on them. I've never had the opportunity to do this in the States.
Oh, okay.
But this is, the interesting thing is I'm the only Afro-American in the production. And so the actors are all Japanese, and they're constantly asking me for, to correct their pronunciation. But that's what's going on here. Jazz and spirituals, they love. And
Wow.
it was about, you need to be here. So
cool.
Right.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So
go ahead.
I'm really excited about that.
Well, that's something to be excited about.
Hopefully
because you are at first.
Yeah, more than likely they're going to videotape it. I don't know. I don't own the data, but I'm going to see if I can, get access to that so that we can, show that in the States too.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm Edwin Williams, and you could reach me at yesjazzmatters.org. And while you're there, you subscribe and share your comments, share the production. And you can also, we have a online store we just opened up. And you can go on that site. You can click on the descriptions, and you can look in descriptions, and you can order any of the merchandise that we have. And it's great. I don't know, Sandy, I was thinking, I was trying to wonder if you gotten an email about the store. No? Well, you will.
Okay.
Now, Yeah, this is one of the shirts, you know, it's kind of like, some of them are like this, but they are different things on it, you know. Vaughn
Okay.
usually has his on because he usually, you know, he likes the picture on it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But for the most part, yeah, just go to the yesjazzmatters.org and just look in descriptions, and you can pretty much order shirts and mugs, that kind of thing, you know, long sleeve, short sleeve. And like I said, just subscribe and share your comments and so forth. But Sandi, it was great having you here.
It was great being here. I really appreciate you including me in this. I am excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had to reach out all the way across the water. And
well, I'm not gonna let you lose me. Don't worry about it.
Oh, cool. Then I'm good. So whenever this thing loosens up, this pandemic and everything, I'm pretty sure, you know, we'll meet, and we're still trying to continue the platform here, and we're still, you know, pulling in. We're also doing, you know, because everybody has to reinvent themselves, you know, in a way, and so we're gonna do some concerts that are virtual. And just look out for them. I'll hit you up and let you know when they'll be available. As a matter of fact, we should have one this next month, which is December, and all the way through next year and until everything clears up. And even when it clears up, we'll still be doing them, because I think that there's no way you can get around it now. You know,
it's true.
You got to do it.
It's
so it was a great
forum.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. And I'm glad you hung around with us. And I know that Vaughn's got to get some sleep, and and we'll do this again. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'm glad to hear that. You know, I look forward to that. I wish you the best of luck with Yes Jazz Matters. I'll do my best to spread it around.
Good. That'll work. We might be able to hook up some kind of exchange at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You can bring some of your students over once, and we can showcase them and everything else here.
Oh, yes. That's a good idea. Yeah. Actually, there's a organization here that has like a little jazz contest, and they've got a base in Seattle, Washington. My student was telling me about it. So the winner gets to go to this room in Seattle and perform for a week. And it's a big thing, you know, and everybody's, you know, competing and trying to win, you know. So what happens is I get a lot of students who are trying to win. So they come and say, Sandy, make me sing better, you know, for this, you know. I found out about it. And I said, really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to see you again.
To the East Coast too. Okay.
Good to see you, Sandy. And from Vaughn, myself, keep jazz alive.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Thank you, Sandy.
Definitely. Thank you, Vaughn. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
See you again.
All right.
Okay, then. All right.
Be safe.
Peace.
Peace.